How do you feel about the emergence of Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee?
I like her more than I like Biden, truthfully. I feel like she's younger, more youthful, just a better fit in general out of the most recent nominees that we've had, even in the last election.
I think that there was a general, like how you're talking to me before the interview started, that there's a general disconnect with specifically younger voters with Joe Biden. Like he's just not very relatable um, to the younger generation. I don't think he's as well spoken, and so the presence of a younger um, person of color, woman running for the presidency is something that I feel like pulls a lot of people that are like my age into the voting poll.
I think it's really very interesting to me. It's so interesting because a lot of politicians have had so many tries and trials and errors of trying to get the younger generation really interested in their platforms or even what they're speaking about and getting that participation from the younger generation that doesn't really believe in voting or doesn't seem to like have that same passion as most people. But seeing Kamala Harris getting that participation from kids my age and striking those conversations and having things like this where we're interviewing each other and talking about Kamala, I think that I haven't really seen a lot of politicians being able to do that. So I think it's like a breath of fresh air seeing a strong willed and a career woman in politics kind of leading that charge, especially since she's not extremely old. And yeah.
What political issues matter most to you as a college student?
Really, like reproductive rights. I don't have an issue with the Republican Party's economic policies, but I do have an issue with the fact that they're trying to push Project 2025. That'll take away a lot of female rights, and we're in a place that we should be going forward, not backwards. So having her in office will just kind of help keep pushing us forward instead of further back.
I would say that abortion is a big issue. I mean, I'm a woman. That really is something that I personally have, like, not dealt with, but like I have connections with because I am a woman. And then I also, oh goodness, that's a good question. There's a lot of stuff that she was talking about with specifically inflation, and I think I mean, if you're 60 years old, you're not going to care about inflation because you don't have to deal with it in 20 years. Because this is going to be, what do you call it? Not very nice to say, I guess. But they're going to be dead in 20 years. And I'm going to still be here. So inflation and the economic policies of the future are important to me.
Right now, it's kind of medical issues, dealing with being away from home and having my parents not be there to help me with insurance and stuff, and having to deal with all these financial burdens. And I think her policies on Medicaid and price gouging on groceries, I think, is really important for college students because we're kind of entering that age where we're kind of diverging from family support and like that financial support that comes with it, and being able to understand what's going on policy wise is really important as a college student because no matter what you say, that politics is going to affect you, and whether that's as menial as like groceries or as big as you got into an accident, your insurance won't cover it. I think it's really important, especially if you're transferring from being super within your family and relying on them and then not anymore.
Where do you get your news from, and then how often do you check that source or sources?
I get a lot of my news from, okay, this is going to sound bad, but my old history teacher, his name is Mr. Vieira, and so I don't know where he gets his history, like his news from, but I hear from him, and I listen to him because he's cool and awesome and all that.
And this is a high school teacher?
Yes.
Awesome.
So I actually have to like argue with my Google Nest to like give me the news of the morning. Sometimes I like to cross-reference because I'm a poli-sci kid, and so I do a lot of research. And so whether that's in classes when I'm talking in my American national government, they'll usually ask, and then so that turns into me looking at CNN or looking at the Washington Post and kind of cross-referencing which is what's happening, and then looking at congressional hearings, looking at debates. I am a firm believer of cross-referencing news platforms because news platforms aren't being as unbiased as they should be, and it's a big problem. And like being able to like understand that there's disinformation and there's a lot of rhetoric happening around the politics in the U.S. right now, and being able to educationally like understand what's happening and analyze that is really important.
Awesome.
It kind of depends. A lot of the times I'll watch the news with my dad, or he'll send me stuff. He's one of those people that just likes to keep learning, and he's very like unbiased with pretty much everything. He is a lot more conservative, but he still likes to educate me about everything, which I really appreciate. And that's kind of where I get most of my knowledge from.
This is also from California.
Yeah.
So like a Southern Californian conservative.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.